Hey Angeles Crest parents, this video is for you if you guys missed the parent meeting on Sunday. So really quickly, I'm just gonna go over all the info that we shared at that parent meeting. And if you guys have any questions, just text or email me. That info will be on the email that I sent out. So let's get started. So a little bit about Angeles Crest. They were founded in the 1940s and their mission statement is to see lives changed through Jesus by providing a mountaintop experience with an eternal impact, which is so cool. So we talked about high school camp. High school camp is more about creating kingdom workers, going out and doing, and Angeles Crest is more focusing on really getting a connection to Jesus as a personal relationship with him, which is so exciting. So it's going to be super awesome. All of the people that I've talked to, we have talked to a few people that have been going to Angeles Crest for years. Our pastor, our high school pastor, Zach, actually gave his life to Jesus at Angeles Crest. And everyone we talked to has either personally been impacted by Angeles Crest, or their child has been impacted by Angeles Crest by a huge way. So we're just seeing the fruit of that before we even getting there. So we're really excited about going to Angeles Crest. So if you see that attachment on the email that I just sent, that will have all of the pictures and the contacts of every leader that is coming up to Angeles Crest with us. That's myself, Keith, Danny, Lisa, Jared, and Jill. Those leaders are super awesome. They're going to be pouring into your students over this week, and we're really excited. So if you guys have any questions about anything as we're up there, you can contact any of those leaders. So now a little bit less of the fun stuff and more of the rules and guidelines of camp. So first is no cell phones. The reason why we do that is because we want students to kind of be in the moment and to be able to connect with the students around them and to connect to Jesus. Now, that's not a Camp Angeles Crest rule. That is our church MVCC rule. The reason why we do that is, like I said, it's for them to be able to connect to the people around them and for them to connect to Jesus. And we've seen from all the camps that we've done, we've seen huge things happen around this no cell phone thing. The first day or two, students are like, wow, where's my phone? I need my phone. I need to be able to, do whatever, take photos, whatever they want. But by the end of camp, we've actually had students say, I'm afraid to go home because I know I'm going to go right back to my phone and I'm not going to feel this connection to Jesus and to other people. So it is a huge thing for them to be able to experience just not being consumed by the world around them and the phones. So that is just the first thing, no cell phones. So if you, as a parent, are like, I want to be able to get in contact with my kid, I want to be able to talk to them each day or whatever, if there's an emergency, I want to be able to contact them. That is why we give you guys the leader info with all their phone numbers, including my own. And students, this is the next rule, is students will always be with a leader. So as we are going around, there's always going to be multiple students with each leader, just for protection, just for, all of the reasons. We're not going to be like, oh yeah, you can go do whatever the heck you want. You can do whatever the heck you want. It's going to be, hey, we're going to go as a church, with this, 3 students with that leader or whatever. So, if we find out that a student is like, hey, I'm just gonna go off and do whatever I want, that's something that we're not gonna allow to do. So as for, this was more for high school, but for junior high as well, is the dating thing. So we don't have any current couples right now in our group, which praise God. But for high school, there's a lot of couples that are going to camp. So what Pastor Zach has asked each of them is just saying, hey, this week, just let's pretend like we're all just friends. Let's pretend like this week we're not dating, because the whole point of this week is for you to connect to Jesus. So for camp, we're obviously, and for all of junior high, we're usually pretty discouraging toward dating relationships just in general. So now a little bit of the deeper rules, some of the things that get you sent home and some of the things that are warnings. So things that will get you sent home: if you bring weapons, drugs, or alcohol of any kind. So as we are meeting at church, before we get on the bus, we will give this announcement. If you brought any of these things, if you announce it right now, if you let us know, we will take it, we'll throw it away, we'll get rid of it. and we can go up to camp and have a good time. But if you bring that stuff up to camp, this is your moment to get rid of it. If you bring that stuff up to camp and we find out that you brought it, that is something that we will have to call you as the parent, and you'll have to come pick them up. So on the deeper end, on the first end on the packing list, if you guys could make sure that your students are not bringing any of those things, that's something that will get them sent home if they bring it. So second thing is if a student is ever alone with the opposite sex. So like we said earlier, students will always be with leaders, but if a student tries to sneak out at night or do anything like that, that is something that is an immediate send home. If a guy goes to the girl cabins, if a girl goes to the guy cabins, or if they're alone together, that is an immediate no wavering, no warnings. That is an immediate send home. Obviously, all this information will be given to your student before we head out so they know what the rules are clearly. But never alone with another student of the opposite sex, never in the opposite sex dorms or cabins. And then sneaking out at night. If you sneak out at night, we're just gonna have to call you as the parent and send them home. So now the things that are just warnings, students being alone by themselves. So like I said, we're gonna be trying to stay as much as, in pods of people as possible with those leaders. If a student is like, hey, I need to use the restroom, and they decide to go off and play their phone in the dorm, or go off and take a nap or whatever, that's gonna be a warning, just saying, hey, we wanna stick together. We don't want you to be off by yourself. Just for safety reasons, for any of the reasons that, we don't want people to be alone by themselves. Yeah, that'll be just a warning, hey, we're gonna stick together, let's not be alone. Respecting the leaders. So this is actually a pretty big one. So if one of the leaders is saying, hey, we're gonna go, whatever, it's lunchtime, we need to go to lunch, and a student says, I don't want to, hey, we're all going as a unit. And if that student continually just disregards or is being disrespectful to a leader, that is going to be a warning. And if that continues, that may warrant us having to call you as the parent to send them home. Dress code. So there will be a dress code in this email of the things to bring and the things not to bring. So as you guys can look through that, something specific for Angeles Crest is closed-toed shoes. It is in the forest. Also, if you want, you can bring sandals for the shower or for the pool, but definitely closed-toed shoes for everyday walking around. And like we said, no phones. If we see a student have a cell phone, after we said, hey, don't bring this, we're gonna take it and then give it back by the time that we get back to MVCC. So for medications, so for junior high, we're going to have a document for you guys to fill out, and it'll just have, what is the medication, when does it need to be taken, student's name, parent contact, all that info, and that'll be on the day of camp that we leave, and you'll just fill that out. So very important for medications. The medication needs to be in a prescribed bottle with the student's name on it. The reason for this is that we give all of the medication to the camp nurse, who is the one who is administering this medication. So if we could fill out that document when we first get here and have all of that medication with the student's name on it as we are giving it to that camp nurse, that would be great. So that nurse will be on campus at all times, 24/7, for us to call, for us to get in contact with, for any time that student needs any of that medication. That nurse will be able to administer that. Things like inhalers or EpiPens, those can stay on your child, but things like even like Advil or Tylenol, those will need to be given to the camp nurse for them to administer to your kid throughout the week. So last thing, this week at Angeles Crest, we are focusing on Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, and it's focusing on this part of the verse. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. So this week specifically is talking about dealing with the ups and downs of life, focusing on seeking the wisdom of Ecclesiastes, seeking the wisdom of Jesus, seeking the wisdom of the Bible in all those ups and downs. And 6th through 8th grade is everyone's awkward phase. Everyone's dealing with some weird transitions in life. So dealing with those things in seeking Jesus and seeking the Bible is a huge deal. So we're really, really excited as we're gonna learn to seek wisdom in these different chapters of life. So if you guys have any questions, please text me, call me, email me. That info will be on the email as well. And we'll see you guys soon.